Number 2 on page 86. For each point on the graph y equals f of x, does a corresponding point on the graph of y equals root f of x exist? If so, state the coordinates, rounded to 2 decimal places if necessary. Okay, so if we take a look at A, for 4 and 12, corresponding point on the graph y equals f of x is y equals root is 4 root 12, which is approximately 4 and 3.46. If we take a look at B, for negative 2, 0.4, on the corresponding graph of y equals root f of x is negative 2 root 0.4, or approximately, negative 2, 0.63. For C, for 10, negative 2, there is no corresponding point on the graph. And that's because negative 2, root negative 2, does not exist. Okay, for D up here, for 0.091, the corresponding point on the graph of y equals f of x, y equals root f of x, is 0.09 and root 1, or 0.09 and 1. For E, for negative 5 and 0, the corresponding point on y equals root f of x is negative 5 root 0, therefore negative 5, 0. And for F, for M and N, the corresponding point on the graph on y equals root f of x is m root n, and the restriction is n has to be greater than or equal to 0. Has to be positive. Okay, number 3. Match each of the graph of y equals f of x to the corresponding graph of y equals root f of x. So on the left are our functions, y equals f of x, and on the right are y equals root f of x. So if we take a look, since on the graph for A, y equals f of x is on or above the x-axis for x less than or equal to negative 2, or x is greater than or equal to 2, the graph of y equals f of x, root f of x, exists only for these values. Okay, so where x is um, less than -2 and x is greater than 2. So therefore, the matching will be C. I'll put it right here. Okay, for B, since the graph of y equals f of x is on or above the x-axis for -2 to +2, the graph of root f of x exists only for these values. So that would be graph D. Okay, let's take a look at C. Since the graph of y equals f of x is above the x-axis for all values of x, the graph of y equals root f of x exists for only these values. So which would it be? A or B? It would be A. And the last one, for y equals f of x, is on or above the x-axis for x between -4 and +4. So the graph of root f of x exists only between -4 and +4. So that will be D.